All right, my friends. So I'm sitting in a hotel getting ready to go see my man Dustin Tibbetts over at Jazz Wealth. We'll do a joint video today. Got a couple of emails I just wanted to share with you. I thought you'd find of interest. It's this one's actually pretty sad in a way. It's sad, but it's also enlightening. So let's go over this. This is from my man Don from South Carolina. He says, Josh, recap. I'm 59, want to retire at 62, taking Social Security at 68. I got 650,000 in a 401k slash IRA, doing Roth conversions from 59 to 68. Income just under 18,000 a year in reinvested dividends, 1,000 a month pension already coming in, no mortgage on house. All right. So he says, hey, Josh, for the last few months of planning for retirement, doing research, using Right Capital software, watching your videos and such, I've had some conversation with friends in similar situations. Most ask, why do you want to retire so early, Don? What are you going to do? Won't you get bored? And here's just one more reason. Now, getting bored, obviously that'd be up to you to decide, but just because you retire doesn't mean you sit there idly at the shuffleboard. It means you do anything. To earn money, you could do farming, raising crops. You could do foundry work. Find out if you like welding, doing a design for necklaces and stuff, selling on what's called Etsy. You do online videos, all kinds of stuff. You're not just sitting there smoking cigarettes and watching TV. Well, I commute up and down I-85 from Greenville to Spartanburg, and I don't know if y'all have ever been through Greenville and in that whole section going from Atlanta through up until Charlotte. But Greenville is booming, booming. And so the reason is because the taxes are great, without question. The cost of living is cheap. So the whole corridor from Greenville up through Charlotte is just incredible. It really is. 15, 20 years ago, I had a good friend from Greenville. He said you couldn't find yourself downtown Greenville even the day without getting mugged. And now it's incredible. Downtown Greenville is fantastic. And by the way, there are more, at least as a few years ago, there are more restaurants per capita in Greenville, South Carolina, than any other place in the U.S. It's definitely not the old sleepy southern town from the old days. It's booming, that whole corridor. All right, so I commute from Greenville up to Spartanburg 5 days a week. Every day the crazies are driving like idiots and put lots of lives in danger. Well, on Thursday morning, right before the holiday weekend, I was going northbound just past a 385 interchange, and there was an accident on the southbound side that must have happened maybe a minute prior. People were still getting out of their vehicles, running towards the scene. Seems a tractor trailer had plowed into two cars stopped in traffic. On the first car to be hit, the only panel left was the passenger door. The only body panel left was the passenger door. Everything else was sheared off to the floor pan. The news said the guy that had died was 38 years old from a neighboring town. Yeah. So 38, I'm 48, man. 38 years old, died from a neighboring town just using I-385 to commute to his crappy old job. I got to work and was visibly shaken from the visual. It really spooked me. This alone is a reason enough to be planned for an early exit. Add to that, my first grandbaby got here in February. My youngest son just moved back from the West Coast with his new wife to North Carolina. I just want to say thanks for putting all that info out there and helping me decide on a course of action. All right, you got it, Don. Man, really nothing else more needs to be said. If you're doing that commute, I don't do that commute anymore on 400. In Georgia, when you're driving down 400 to 75 and 85, going through Buckhead and then through Midtown, they flash, 561 deaths, fatalities so far this year, whatever it is. And those are real people. I mean, they might not be me or you, but those are real people, like this 38-year-old guy just off to his way to work. Who knows? Sad, man. It's just, you don't have to do that if you're a slave to the grind, as the old was a Skid Row. Remember Skid Row song, "Slave to the Grind"? Pretty good song. But if you're a slave to the grind and just working to save enough money for retirement, maybe it's time you rethought it. Look, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying my own perspective is the whole point about the retirement crisis that is non-existent, but people keep saying is out there, is to keep you as a slave to the grind. No other way around that. It's to keep people, what's the word I'm looking for? Just easy to be led. I'm too. When I was at USAA and they do some stupid crappy. I mean, we used to have a financial software that everybody knew was piss poor. Everybody knew it. Yet if you said something, you were ostracized as, not being part of the team. And you're like, but I can't do this anymore. I can't. The software is misleading. And but so what they do is they say, well, forget that. Here's a bunch of money. Just keep focused on the money and forget all the actual stuff that you're doing that, literally is harming people. Because if someone bought that plan under the assumption that the planning software was legit, they could have made horrific mistakes. Never mind the commute you had to do. Never mind but you got this pile of money you're looking at, the bonuses, all that stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'll obey to get that pile of money. And then lo and behold, fast forward 2 years since leaving, you say, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, it's a struggle. There's always a struggle. You're a human being. But then you start saying, I have something to offer. Now, you might not know what it is yet. Think about it. Take some time in the morning before you get in that car and just sit there and think in peace and quiet for 15 to 20 minutes. It's the hardest thing you ever did, especially if your mind is going a million miles an hour with ADD like me. I don't even know if I got ADD, but my mind, it's like electrons just bounce around. Crazy. But you got to sit there and think. And what I say is that for me as a Christian, that's the Holy Spirit enveloping your mind with ideas in a thought process that puts all the noise aside and gets you on the straight and narrow. And once you're on the straight and narrow, hell's bells, man. You can accomplish anything. It's not going to be easy. God doesn't promise success. He doesn't say, like, was that Joel Osteen guy from South Carolina, the preacher who got his wife some fancy schmancy car. He says, well, God, this is what God wanted for us. I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, look, I'm not here to judge, to each his own, man. But I just said, God promises you financial success. I don't think that's true. In fact, I think if you look at Jesus, he says, sell all your possessions and follow me. So anyway, thanks for the email, Don. That's good stuff. Sad. Man, 38-year-old guy. Eesh. Happens 50,000 times a year in the U.S. 50,000 people a year die on the roads. That's just death. How many are maimed? All right, we'll see you next time.